Hey, my name's James Nicholson. Welcome to my YouTube channel. One of the most severe parts of the Renters' Rights Bill, or the Renters' Rights Act, as it is now known, goes active before the year is out. And this is going to terrify some landlords, and it's going to frustrate enough of them that I think more people, when they know about this or when they hear some examples and when this actually gets carried out, will leave the rental market and cause more problems for a shrinkage in the rental market, thus pushing up rents and making that rental market even more competitive for tenants to get a good property. So in this video, I want to talk about what they're rolling out on December the 27th this year and the major implications this will have on the rental market and much, much more. Now, if you're new around here and you haven't done already, do subscribe to the channel over there and hit that bell notification. We're the fastest growing property channel in the UK, and by subscribing, you'll join 50,000 other subscribers in getting all the latest house price news, interest rate news, property investing tips, and much, much more. And let's get some views on this video. And your part in this is very, very simple. All you need to do is smash like, tick or like, do something to that like button. That really helps with the YouTube algorithm, and that really has helped the channel grow. So thanks to everyone that takes a minute to do that. So, December the 27th. Strange date for something to go active, but it is what it is. And that is that the councils can, at that date, start inspecting landlords that they've got suspicions about and do some raids on their property. And this is interesting because in the research for this video, I actually found that councils have more rights to enter your property than the police do. You may or may not know that, but you do now. And so councils will have more rights than ever before to do unannounced inspections on your property. Now, this could be because you've called them in, the tenants called them in, they've called them in. Not going to be you called them in, but if the tenant has called them in or they've got some suspicions, then they could just turn up unannounced. And this could be a nice little revenue exercise for councils, because here's the fines that you can get if there's some problems. So the initial fine would start at £7,000 for a minor breach or a first offence. £7,000. Landlords make £2,000 on average per property per year. So that's a huge increase. Now, if there's a major problem there, or you're a repeat offender, that jumps up to £40,000. These were increased in the Renters' Rights Act. So this was £5,000 for a first offence, and it was £30,000 for a major offence. So these have increased significantly in the new Renters' Rights Act. So that's a problem. And obviously councils will want that money, because who wouldn't? Councils are struggling. They're all going bankrupt. If they can go around collecting £7,000 fines quite easily, then they're probably going to do more of these raids than people believe. Now, here's where it gets worse. Some of these reasons are quite shocking. And you can see what you think about this in the comments below. So the landlord database. Now, we know that's coming. That's not coming by December the 27th, I don't believe. I think it's going to take some time. I think an IT contractor will get paid millions of pounds to do it. Then they'll delay it. Then they'll get more millions of pounds. It's a government project. That's what normally happens. But eventually it will be there. And so there will be a landlord database. And if you don't register in that landlord database, that's a reason for one of these inspections. And so that could cause you some major problems. So that's a real incentive to make sure that you get in the landlord database, everything's up to date, and that's very, very important. So if the landlord database is out, I'll tell you on this channel when it is, so that's a reason to subscribe. Make sure you fully update all the details in that landlord database. You do not want to get an inspection just because of not being in there. Now, there's more. False information in the database. I mean, that's fair enough, I guess. If you lied on your tax return, you're going to get hammered down by the HMRC. So if you have false information in that landlord database, and I know some people are going to do that, well, you can get one of these inspections. That's reason for an inspection. It's also a reason for a fine. So don't put false information in there. Don't lie. Be compliant. Follow the rules. That's very important. Now, these inspections, when they arrive, even though they're unannounced, even if your tenant refuses access, they will still enter the premises. And that's interesting because I had an issue with a tenant in Hastings previously, and that tenant didn't allow access when I needed to get contractors into the property. And they were the ones that highlighted that they had a problem. They lodged it with the estate agent. We sent people out to fix a window handle or whatever it was. But on that day, the tenant had, for example, one of the issues was anxiety and didn't want anyone in the property. And so the contractor went away and we had to resolve that and figure a date that would work and try and think of a solution between the estate agent and the tenant that would allow them to not feel anxious with someone coming into the property. But with this, if the tenant refused in that sort of scenario, which sometimes they can, then the council would just enter anyway. They've got rights, as I said, more rights than the police to enter your property. So if they feel there's any sort of problems in there, they will just enter. And I guess if the tenant knows that the landlord isn't registering the property properly because for whatever reason it is, and that gets them a slightly cheaper rent, then they might be on the landlord's side here and try and not give access. And that's why the council will just go through. In that visit, the no warrant visit, they will be taking photos and recording what the property looks like. And so that's something that needs to happen. Now, where I see this as being a problem is you will get some tenants that get some maintenance issues and they might not go to the agent first or to the landlord first. They might have the first port of call is to call the council and get this done. And the council might see this as a money opportunity and quite quickly go in there, and you might not know that you've got some sort of maintenance issue because nobody's told you, and unfairly you get a fine when you were fully prepared to go out and fix anything that was wrong with the property. So what I feel will happen here is that more landlords will see this as crazy. You will get some dramatic stories in the media. You'll get landlords that are getting these 40 grand fines within 6 months. You'll start seeing those. They'll be in the Daily Mail, for example, and I'll talk about them as and when they happen, and just see what's happening there. And that, unfortunately, will scare some landlords. So with all of this, it just means it's really important that you run a tight ship. So if you're an accidental landlord and you're not doing things properly, you haven't got all your insurances in place, you don't do your maintenance, and it's all a little bit disorganised, this is going to be a nightmare for you. For a professional landlord that follows the rules, and that could be just one unit, I would always suggest that you now use an estate agent, a letting agent, keeping you up to date on legislation. Follow channels like this so you know what legislation's coming out as well, and make sure you just follow the rules. I think that is the most important lesson from this. I think that's pretty much it on this. It's a bit scary. It's coming soon, and I don't think landlords are going to like it. And I think some landlords are going to get unfairly fined because of this. Let me know what you think about this in the comments below. We're launching the VIP stuff this week still. Just a few more technical things that we've got to get working to make sure everything is all good. But in the meantime, if you haven't grabbed our ebook, Mortgage Secrets, do grab a copy of that in the description. And you can still join the VIP list in the description as well before we launch. So do that while you're here. Do smash like, do subscribe, do check out all the other content as well on the channel, including this video right here.